So we'll be creating routing for login, and after we log in, so we'll have two routes based on the login. So we'll use the Zustand library to maintain the login state, and when we click this, our app should be navigated, right? First we'll open our project in VS Code. We'll copy this command and paste it in our terminal and hit enter. So it will install React Router DOM, right? And then we'll start our project by using npm start. So it will start our project, right? So to use React Router DOM, we need some links and some pages. So first we'll create some dummy pages. Inside our src, we'll create a new folder called pages, right? So this will have all of our pages. We'll create another folder called login, another folder called sign up, and three more folders called about, profile, and friends, right? So we'll just move these two files inside our login page and move this file inside our sign up page. So now we'll read the error. So inside our app.js we have an error. We'll open this. So we have our import error. We'll remove this. We're not using this, so it cannot resolve sign up inside our app.js. So we'll remove this import and then we'll re-import it and hit save. So now our error is inside sign up page. So we'll open our sign up page. It's this error, right? It cannot resolve this. So we'll import it from scratch. Import styles from dot slash. Our styles are inside login page, login folder, right? Login dot module dot css. Hit save. So our error is gone, right? So now we'll create some dummy text for all the other three pages, right? So we'll create a new file called about.js, same for friends.js, and a new file called profile.js, right? We'll have a functional component const about. So this will return a div which says about. We'll export this, export, right? So we'll copy all this code and do same for friends. We'll replace about with friends, and profile. We'll replace the text about with profile. Hit save. We'll close all these three files now. And now we'll open our index.js, right? So inside our index.js we'll have a tag called browser router, right? So browser router. So this will have another tag called routes. We'll import this, right? We'll close this tag. So this tag will have all the routes of our application, right? So the first route is the slash route, right? So route, we'll import this with the path will be slash, and this will render our our whole application, right? So we'll inside element prop we'll pass our app, right? So now we can close this tag, hit save, nothing changes, right? So our app will have three pages. So the about page, friends page, and profile page. So inside this route we'll have three routes for those pages, right? So route 1 with path of profile, file, and element will be profile. We close this tag. We'll copy paste this. So three pages, three routes, right? So about and friends. So we'll replace the element with the about, and this with friends. So we'll import these three pages. So friends, hit save, right? So right now our app is still rendering sign up. Why? Because inside our application, right, we are not going to render sign up, we are going to render outlet tag. So outlet, but when we navigate to profile, profile is rendered. When we navigate to about is rendered. When we navigate to friends, friends is rendered. But when we navigate to home, nothing is rendered. That is exactly what you want, right? So we'll have different route for login and sign up. So route path login element would be uh, login. Close this as well. We'll copy paste this, and sign up login. Sign up route will be a sign up, and element will be sign up. We'll import login as well. So login, hit save, and now when we navigate to login, login is rendered. When we navigate to sign up is rendered, right? But when we navigate to some other route that doesn't exist, it renders nothing. We want to prevent this. So to prevent this, what we'll do is we'll create another route with the path of star, and here in element we'll render the navigate tag from react router.dom. Navigate to, so we'll navigate to slash, we'll navigate to login, right? Let's save. So when the user tries to navigate to some other route that doesn't exist, will be navigated to login. But right now we are not validating the user. So right now when the user is navigating to profile, he's navigated to profile without even logging in, right? We want to prevent this, right? So to prevent this, we need to write some condition inside our app.js. So first we'll create a new variable called is user valid. We'll set this to false. We'll use Zustand library. We'll set this variable dynamically using Zustand library. For now, let's say the user is not valid, right? So we'll remove this and this. So we'll conditionally render. So if the user is valid, then we want to render the outlet. Else we want the user to navigate to login, right? First the user will log in, and then our app will be loaded. We'll also remove this and hit save. So right now our user is not valid, so it should not be able to go to profile. So it's not able to go to profile, it's not able to go to any other route. And when the user just loads our site, it's navigated to login. Why? Because the user loads this path, right? So our app is loaded. So inside our app we have this as false, so this is false, then this will be rendered. So this will navigate the user to login page. So when the user is just loading our site, he's navigated to the login page, right? And we need to have this as a global state variable, right? To set this, we need to go inside our login page, right? So inside our login page, we have our on submit handler. So when the user clicks this submit button, this function will run. The validation for the user input is done, and we are just logging the user data, like the input data, to the console, right? Instead of just logging it, we'll have two variables. So const database user name equals to Ajay. We'll have another name variable for password. So database password equals to Ajay at 123, right? So later we'll have a login API and we'll use that API. So right now we'll just hard code the values. So we'll have an if condition now. So if form data dot username, so it's the input, so this form data is the input username. So if form data dot username is same as database username, and if form data dot password is same as the database password, then we want to set a global variable to true, right? So right now we don't have any global variable. I'll comment this out. We want to navigate to slash profile, right? So as soon as the user logs in, we want the user to navigate to somewhere, right? So it will be profile, right? So we'll hit save. So right now we need to have a global state, right, for the user validation, right? So we'll use the Zustand library. So Zustand npm, click this link, copy this code and paste it inside your terminal, right? So paste it inside your terminal and hit enter. So it will install the Zustand library, right? So after it is installed, start your project again, npm start, close this tab. So now right now we have our Zustand library, right? So we need to create a global state. So inside our src folder, we'll create a new folder called state, and this folder will have a new file called state.js, right? Inside state.js, we'll import the create method from Zustand. Import create from Zustand. We'll call the create method. So this create method returns a hook. So we'll store that hook inside a variable. So const, since it's a hook, we are starting it with use var store. We can name this anything we want. So this create method receives callback function as an argument, right? And whatever we return from this callback function will be our state for this hook. We get a set function as an argument to this callback, and we can use this function to set the state, right? So in this callback function we'll return an object. So this is our state object. So this object will have is user valid property as false. So by default it is false, but we need a way to set this property, right? So to do that, we will create another function, set is user valid. So this will be an arrow function with an argument. So this arrow function will call the set function, and the set function will set the is user valid property to the argument that we passed, right? So we are supposed to use this hook anywhere in any page, right? So when we use this hook, we can access these two properties, right? And when we call this function, and whatever argument we pass to this function, that argument will be set inside this property, right? Export default use var store, right? So now we'll open our login page, right? So we need to use our use var store. We'll copy this, and right above our on submit handler we'll paste this, and we need to import this. We need to pull this function out of use var store, right? So we'll copy this. So this use var store receives a callback function as an argument, right? So a callback function, and inside this callback function we get another argument as state. So whatever we return from this callback, we can use it inside the login page, the whole login page. So state dot set is user valid. So we are extracting, so we are pulling this function out from use var store, right? So we'll store this function inside a variable, const paste equals to. So we can now use this function anywhere inside our login page. So we'll use this function inside this condition, right? So we'll paste it here. We'll pass the argument as true. So whatever argument we pass to this function, will go and sit on this property, right? So we have set the global user state to true, and we also need to navigate to profile, right? So we'll use the use navigate hook. So const navigate equals to use navigate. So this hook is from React router DOM. So we'll copy this and paste it here, and we'll pass the path to which we want to navigate. So profile. As soon as the user logs in, we want the user to navigate to profile, right? And we are using this function in our login page, right? But we are not using this state anywhere. So we'll use this state in our app.js, right? Instead of having this hard-coded value, we'll use the use var store, and we'll use the same method to pull out the state as well. So this will return state dot is user value. So in login page, we are pulling out this function from use var store, but in app.js we are pulling out the property from use var store. We'll rename it is user valid. We'll hit save, and now this should be working, right? So the correct user, so when we type the wrong username anything and hit submit, nothing should happen, nothing happens, right? So now when we type the correct username and hit submit, aj at 123 Ajay at 123, hit submit, we should log in and we should navigate to profile. Yeah, we are logged in and we are navigated to profile, but we cannot navigate to any other pages, right? So about our friends using this, so we can't mess with the URL. So when we try to navigate to about, it should log us back out, because we are not maintaining any session for that. So we don't expect the user to navigate through our app using the URL bar, right? We want the user to click on some links and the user gets navigated, right? So inside our profile page, so this page is loaded whenever the user is logged in, right? We'll have some links. We'll have some link from React router DOM. So we have link to slash about, right? So about, so link to about, and another link to friends. So whenever we log in now, we have two links. So we'll have a br tag, save, have a br tag again, save. So this is friends. So when we click this, we are navigated to the friends and about page, but we cannot navigate using the URL. When we try to navigate to friends, it logs us out. Why? Because our app.js runs again, everything is initialized again, so this becomes false. So we are navigated to login page again. So whenever we'll use session in upcoming videos. So whenever the user tries to navigate through the URL bar, we'll check the session, and if the session is valid, only then we'll let the user go to the required URL. So that's all for this video. In the upcoming videos, we'll make a sidebar for these links, we'll make a header, we'll toggle the sidebar using CSS. Yeah, and we'll also, and in the future, like in more upcoming videos we'll make the API and stuff. We'll handle the session for this application. We'll make the API in Spring Boot. Yeah, and thank you for watching. Subscribe.